Amazon is on my mind today. Amazon is thinking about allowing its workers to unionize. Well, they're not really thinking about it. I mean, the Amazon workers are about to vote on unionization. And I have a few thoughts on this, and I'm going to break some of this down for you very quickly on the Black Financial Channel. So buckle up your seatbelt, get comfortable, hit the thumbs up button. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is theblackfinancialchannel.com. Amazon is in the middle of a really interesting situation that I think could change the trajectory of how business is done within Amazon facilities all around the world. Right now, there is a big battle going on in Alabama where there is going to be a vote, a big vote, a huge vote over the unionization of Amazon's workers. Now, first thing I'm going to start off by saying is that if you ask me, is the world better off when you have unions? The answer is typically yes. I am typically and generally a fan of unionization of workers, largely because unionization leads to concentrated power as opposed to diluted power where everyone's spread out and the company can pick people off one by one. So I am a fan of concentrated power from the workers to contrast with the capitalist power of the corporation. America has been a failed and declining country since the 1960s when we started to let the unions get busted up and destroyed. And it has harmed our society immensely as a result of unions being broken down, in addition to several other factors, globalization and everything else that you're seeing. The real wage, I mean, if you take away inflation, the real wage of the average worker has been on the decline. In fact, there are young people now working for companies like Amazon and UPS making the exact same amount of money that they offered me in college. And I ain't a 25-year-old. I'm far. I was 25 a long time ago. I was 25 years old about 24.5 years ago. And so there's no way on this earth you can explain to me why a UPS employee in Louisville, Kentucky, where I grew up, can make the same amount of money today that they were making when I was in college. So I'm going to give you that short answer on the unionization and say I am generally in favor of unions. Now, here's what's interesting about the Amazon situation. The Amazon situation is ironic and kind of curious to observe because Amazon is fighting back. Like Amazon is not sort of sitting there and just sort of quietly allowing their critics to sort of run ramshot on their labor practices and make up stories about the workplace being dangerous and they're beating their employees and trying to kill them and making them pee in bottles and just whatever they're saying. They're saying all kinds of stuff, right? Because they're trying to win an election. Amazon's actually coming back. They're actually coming back, and they're challenging the politicians. They're challenging local and federal politicians. That they actually challenged the congressman Bernie Sanders and others, and they said, "Look, you guys in Congress won't even support a $15 an hour minimum wage." Where our workers already make more than $15 an hour. We start them above $15 an hour. So we welcome you to match what we're already doing here at Amazon. Now, that all sounds fine and good on the surface, but here's the thing. Let me give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. How do you think that a person can really live a decent life in America with $15 an hour? Like, let's keep it 100. Like, it's $15 an hour. I mean, can you really live a good life? Can you get a nice house with a white picket fence and two dogs and a Chevy and live a good, comfortable life on $15 an hour? I mean, is $15 an hour even reasonable anyway? The answer is no. I mean, the only reason $15 an hour sounds good is because the wages have gotten so terribly bad, so terribly low. And so Amazon's big problem is definitely one of aesthetics. Right now, one of the richest men on the planet, Jeff Bezos, this guy during the pandemic was making $300 million a day. Literally, during the pandemic, Jeff Bezos was making $300 million a day. And so when you become literally the walking manifestation of American capitalist greed, you're not going to get a lot of sympathy from anybody. You're not. And then when you add in the fact that Amazon, Facebook, and Google in particular are part of a tech triopoly. They have gained all this oligopoly power that has allowed them to suppress free speech. They have destroyed marketplaces, they have gouged consumers, taken data, done all these terrible things to people, and nobody is holding them accountable. Nobody's holding these companies accountable for their behavior. And again, I'm not just a regular guy talking. I have a PhD in finance, so I understand markets and economics and everything else. And I'm watching this happen. I'm thinking, what happened to our country? Why isn't somebody checking the power of these companies? Like, what's going on? So all these hearings in Congress, these hearings like, oh, are you a monopoly? We're going to have you come and testify before Congress. I just want you to know that's a bunch of BS. It's a circus. It's a show. They're giving you a nice show so that you'll feel like they did something, and then they'll do absolutely nothing, and these companies will continue to control and ruin your life. And as a black man, I get offended. Today I heard that Rizza Islam was banned simultaneously from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the same time. They coordinated, again, that oligopoly power. They coordinated like the gangsters they are and decided that we don't want Rizza Islam speaking on any of these platforms. They got on the phone and had a call and said, let's all simultaneously work together and coordinate our strategy to oppress this man's right to speak. They did it to Louis Farrakhan. They've done it to a lot of people. At some point, who knows? They might even do it to me. So my point is to say that Amazon does need to be checked. Amazon is the personification of capitalist greed. The reason Amazon is fighting against unions is not because they're going to do a better job. They're fighting unions for the same reason that any pimp would not want his hookers to all decide to get together and negotiate as a group. He wants to deal with them one-on-one. That way he gets to decide how much money you're going to make, what kind of miniskirt you're going to wear, what kind of benefits you're going to have, how much food you're going to get to eat every day. He gets to decide that. And he gets to decide if am I going to be a benevolent pimp or a malevolent pimp. And it's easier for me to pull back the pimp hand and slap you one by one than it is for me to slap you all as a group. Because if I try to slap you all as a group, you might come back and kill me. So ultimately, Amazon, unfortunately, capitalism and that extreme is really, kind of a type of pimping. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the other side of me, though. There's another side of me, though, that is not so anti-capitalist that I'm anti-business. I'm not anti-business. I'm not anti-corporation. Amazon has done some good things for people. Amazon creates some good jobs for, that smart people take these jobs and they love these jobs. I know people that work at Amazon who make six figures, over $100,000 a year. I know people that work at Amazon who love the benefits package. I know people that work at Amazon who are really happy to be there. So this idea that somehow in order to achieve equity and fairness, you got to absolutely vilify the other side and dehumanize them as if they've never done anything good for the world ever. Well, that's wrong too. Like, remember when Amazon was planning on building that facility in I think the Bronx or something, and Ocasio-Cortez basically ran them out of town. She made the terms so unreasonable that they were like, you know what, screw you. We're going to go somewhere where we're wanted. So now you got, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, I don't know how many workers in North Carolina or wherever they relocated to who now have good jobs that a lot of people in the Bronx wanted. They're like, we wanted that job and you ran them out of here because you're trying to get them to fit some sort of socialist utopia ideology that you're trying to pursue without considering the fact that we got kids to feed, right? So if you want to know if am I a guy that's going to sit here and act like Amazon's never done anything good for the world, the answer is no. But at the same time, I'm a realist when it comes to capitalism in the sense that when you allow companies like Amazon to run unchecked, to make money hand over fist right in the middle of a pandemic when everybody else is starving to death, and then your CEO is making $300 million a day and nobody says, okay, let's go tax this son of a bitch. Let's take 50 billion out of his bank account and feed some homeless people. Like, he's not going to miss it. He's still got another $140 billion left. But no, you because you are such an extremist country, because we've allowed our country to go too far to the left and too far to the right, we've never achieved the balance that we really need. Is socialism a bad word? No, it's not. Is capitalism a bad word? No, it's not. What you really need is just like this bath I'm about to take. I don't want scalding hot water. I don't want freezing cold water. What I really want is some warm water where the hot and cold come together to create something nice and comfortable. So in America, you don't need hardcore capitalism. You don't need straight up socialism. Those systems most of the time do not work and the people end up poor. You need something in the middle where you can say, look, go out here, build a business, make your money, get your bread, get rich. We want you to be a millionaire. But at the same time, we want the workers to have rights. The workers should have union power so that they can negotiate with the capitalists on even footing. The only way they can do that is through a union, through some sort of organizational structure. Same thing is true with the customer. If the customers are not somehow brought together as a conglomerate to deal with the company on a mass scale, then the customers are all going to get screwed. Amazon, here's the last piece about Amazon. This is another thing. You guys know, most of you in here are investors. Give me a yes in the chat if you are an investor. Let me know if you're an investor, because I hope all of you are invested in the stock market. If you're not, you can go to firstsharestock.com and get started. Let me put the URL on the screen. I can show you how to get started for free. So there's the URL. Amazon, one thing I would do if I were Amazon's advisor, what I would tell them to do is I think you need to split your stock. Now, why does Amazon need to split their stock? Well, because everybody acts like capitalism has no room for work to benefit working class people. Everybody acts like capitalism or this, this country we live in, the version of capitalism we have is one where either you are balling out of control or you're just stinking poor. That's not true. A lot of y'all in here, maybe you still have jobs. Maybe you're not millionaires, but you're happy because you're an investor. You own stock, you made money, you're participating in the American dream. Well, capitalism can be democratized, through stock ownership. If Amazon splits its stock and simply says, okay, now instead of our shares being $3,000 a piece, they're now $30 a piece. And we're also, as a result of the stock price being split, we're going to give every employee, 1,000 shares of Amazon stock, or maybe 100 shares or 200 shares. And then we're going to encourage them to buy more. We'll let them buy more shares of stock at a discount. That way, when we win, they win. Right? You do this with the American people. If everyone's invested in the company, then when you're winning, they win. Right? When Apple split their stock, I think for the same reason. When they're going in front of Congress and everyone's saying, well, why are you making all this money and no one else is making money? Amazon can say, look, we've got 10 million, whatever, shareholders out here that are making money when we make money. So they're cheering for us because we're in the same boat. So that's one of the reasons why I encourage you to buy stock for yourself, buy stock for your children, because what happens is that when you're making money along with the big guy that's getting paid, you're not going to get mad when they're doing well. You're going to wish them well because you're doing well too. So what do I want at the end of the day? I want everybody to do well. Everybody can't be Jeff Bezos, but that don't mean you got to be broke. But if you want to be broke, then don't participate. Sit to the side, just be mad, act like you can't afford a share of stock, even though you can afford all the Popeyes chicken you can eat, but can't buy a $10 share of stock. I don't get that, but whatever people want to say is fine. But at the end of the day, there is no whites only sign on the stock market. There's no sign on the stock market that says only rich people can participate. Anybody can get on an app right now and own a piece of America. So I encourage you, instead of just complaining, go participate. That's all I want to say. That's my thought for today. I'm out of here. So I don't know how this is going to play out for Amazon, but if they do lose this vote, there'll probably be Amazon unions all over the country. And again, because I generally am a fan of unions, I think it could be done well. But I'm not always a fan of unions because sometimes unions become corrupt and dirty and they charge people dues and intimidate people, and they become corrupt and they run companies into the ground. So that's when unions go bad. So the same thing is true with capitalism. Sometimes capitalism can lead to free enterprise and strong businesses and lots of wealth like we're building in the Black community. But when you get to the point where you push the tipping point toward greed, then you start having capitalist entities that run society into the ground. So extreme capitalism is not good. Extreme socialism isn't good. Unions, when they go bad, can be bad for America, but they can also be good. It depends on who the leadership is. So that's my 2 cents on the issue. I hope you guys have a good day. Please hit the thumbs up button. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button right now before you go. And also, there's my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at The Real Boyce Watkins. And I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Love you. Peace.